This is Dominique Wilkins.
Hey, this is Sean Kemp.
This is Gary Payton.
Hey, this is Pau Gasol.
NBA fans, what's up? This is Vince Carter here.
Hey, what's up? This is Matt Barnes. If you're an old school NBA fan like I am, make sure you check out the Basketball Time Machine with my man Sean David.
Hey folks, how's it going? Welcome back to the Basketball Time Machine. I'm your host, Sean David. Thanks for tuning in. Let's talk some old school NBA basketball. In today's episode, I want to talk about one of the most iconic bigs of the 1990s and the early 2000s. I'm of course talking about Dikembe Mutombo, probably the best shot blocker of the 1990s. But before we get into today's episode, I want to ask you guys for a small favor. Please subscribe to the channel and also click the notifications button so you always get notified once I upload a new video. Alright you guys, enough said, let's dive right into today's episode. So, where do we start? I would say let's start at the college career of Dikembe Mutombo, so the late 1980s and the early 1990s. From 1988 to 1991, Dikembe Mutombo played college ball for the Georgetown Hoyas. His original plan was to become a doctor, but he was heavily recruited by legendary head coach John Thompson, who already formed Patrick Ewing into a huge college superstar. Mutombo, who had the perfect size of 7'2", already brought a lot of talent on the defensive side of the game, but had to wait his turn since he was playing behind another legendary center in Alonzo Mourning. In Dikembe's senior season, he and Alonzo Mourning both played over 30 minutes a game, and Mutombo showed that he had the potential to become an NBA superstar. So at the 1991 NBA draft, many scouts had Mutombo on their list, but it would be the Denver Nuggets who wanted Dikembe Mutombo desperately since they were in need of a dominant big.
Fourth pick in the 1991 NBA draft, the Denver Nuggets select Dikembe Mutombo from Georgetown University.
But if you are going to start and you are going to make a run at the playoffs, you must defend. And this is the best place to start.
Dikembe Mutombo, you see him playing on the inside, the physical strength, number 55 for Georgetown. How quickly does Mutombo help Denver? How much impact will he have on the Denver Nuggets early in the season in 1991?
When Dikembe Mutombo joined the Denver Nuggets in 1991, they were a bad team. Only 1 year prior, their best scorer in Alex English left the team, and all the Nuggets had left were decent players, but no one with real superstar potential. But this was about to change. With Dikembe Mutombo and Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf, the Nuggets finally had two players who could become all-stars in the future. This situation was ideal for Mutombo, since now he not only would receive a lot of playing time, but also gave him the chance to work on his offensive skills. He would average 17 points per game, the second most of his entire career, and even though the Nuggets had no chance of making the playoffs, Mutombo quickly became an NBA star.
I don't be intimidated by nobody. I will dominate at some point. Dominate.
Swatted away.
Dominate.
Mutombo, tough move.
You get the idea.
And so has the rest of the league, as Dikembe Mutombo has become a name to be reckoned with in the NBA.
Jumbo Mutombo.
Jumbo Mutombo.
No matter how you say it, he has become one of the game's biggest names.
Is that right? Those are all your names. The first
one is
two.
missing.
Oh, one is missing.
Manning the rebound. Loses it. Mutombo slams it.
For years, the Denver Nuggets were missing a dominant center. It's a role that's perfectly suited for Dikembe.
Up and jams it home.
We have basically built this team around Dikembe, and we plan on him being our center and being our all-star center for the next 10 or 12 years.
From the beginning, Mutombo's potential was clear as he was elected to the All-Star team in his rookie year.
Mutombo!
His progress off the court, though, has been less impressive.
Fly in the house of Mutombo.
1, 2, 3, 4.
When he entered the NBA, Mutombo was hailed as a defensive force, and he's more than lived up to those expectations.
Mutombo comes out of nowhere and terminates it.
Defensively, when you bring it in there, I mean, he's after you, so there's no telling how great he can be.
He says, don't bring it in my house again.
The next 4 years, Dikembe Mutombo would stay with the Denver Nuggets and become the NBA's best shot blocker. Unfortunately, his offensive output did not increase and he would only average between 11 and 14 points per game. The reason was that the Denver Nuggets simply used Mutombo more as a defensive presence and had other players carry the offensive load, even though Dikembe Mutombo was more than capable of scoring. However, even though Mutombo was now officially an NBA All-Star, the Denver Nuggets struggled to improve, and so in 1996, Dikembe Mutombo decided to move on and joined the Atlanta Hawks. When Dikembe Mutombo joined the Atlanta Hawks, it was really a big thing. Why? Because the Atlanta Hawks really wanted to make a push for an NBA championship, and having Dikembe Mutombo, Mookie Blaylock, and Steve Smith on the same team, that was a powerhouse in the Eastern Conference.
Mutombo, and Dikembe says no. Clarence and Mutombo's no.
In his first 2 years with the Atlanta Hawks, they would be a serious title contender, and if it wasn't for the Chicago Bulls, they really had a shot at making it to the NBA Finals. Mutombo, who was now surrounded by great players, would win the Defensive Player of the Year award yearly and prove that he was the dominant big that he was always talking about. Then in 2000, at the age of 34, he was traded to the Philadelphia 76ers, where he made it to the NBA Finals just to come up short to lose against the Los Angeles Lakers. From that point onwards, Dikembe's numbers started to decline. Because he was already 25 when he entered the NBA, he had a shorter prime. However, he would continue to play until he was 42 and end his career with the Houston Rockets. So how good was Dikembe Mutombo in my opinion? Well, I honestly gotta say, I not only believe that he's rightfully in the Hall of Fame, but I also think that he's one of the best defenders of all time. And it's easy to take a look at his numbers, especially at the rebound section and the block section. I mean, he's probably the best shot blocker of the 1990s. But I think on defense, it's more about being in the right position. And if you take a look at how tough it was for guys to score on him, you see what a great defender he really was. On the offensive side, now obviously he was not the greatest scorer, even though I think he could have been better if he would have played on the team that really was looking for him on offense. But in completion, I mean, he was still averaging between 12 to 16 points in his heyday. So Dikembe Mutombo, in my opinion, one of the best players of his era.
What were you thinking? Poor Stannis had to sit through this. It is your turn, Dikembe.
It's your turn now.
This is the only one I'm going to hit you with. But what were you thinking, Deke, when MJ turned things around? And after this, oh, look, he wags his finger at you.
I thought I was coming here to talk about this.
He's like, I'm doing wonderful things for humanity. And here you put Michael Jordan in my face, wagging his finger.
I'll tell you what. It took Michael 7 years to get one dunk.
Oh, there you go. There we go. Let it know.
Boom.
I'm in the Hall of Fame just from blocking shots. So give me some credit. You know, I'm not going to sit here quiet because somebody was lucky enough to get one dunk. But how many of those blocks I got on Michael?
Yeah, that's true. We can be showing that for days.
All right, you guys, that was it for today's episode. Thanks for watching. But if you enjoyed the content, please do me a favor. Not only subscribe to the channel, but click that notifications button so you always get the little notification once I upload a new video. Remember, I upload 2 episodes every week. All right, you guys, take care and goodbye.
From Georgetown, number 55, Dikembe Mutombo.
Down the lane.